Hi everyone. Today I want to share with you the question: am I really a morning or a night person, or is this just another form of excuse that I use to procrastinate or that? And I think first of all, we need to look at this: is it biology or habit? I really don't have the science facts to say that it's biology or habit, but one of the things I would say is that for most of us, we are like people who we say we have a favorite food and we've not tasted every other forms of meal in the world. And we're like, this, my favorite food is the best food in the world. And I'm like, dude, you've just like, since you've been growing up, you've only eaten six of your traditional delicacies. That's all you've eaten. And then you're like, this one is the best food in the world. And I'm like, yeah, well, it's a good food, but you've not tried every other thing you get. And for you to say you're a morning or evening person, I think first of all, you have to try morning and evening, and not just once. Like, you have to try it over time. Say, okay, I've tried writing in the morning, it doesn't really work for me. I've tried writing in the evening, it doesn't really work for me. Now, the question of trying it is not really an idea of, okay, I sat down to write and I wasn't able to write. Now it's more of, let's leave how you felt. Let's talk about whether you're able to write or not. Because for most of us, we want to write in the morning, but even though we sit down and our eyes are open and we feel inspired, we can't write in the morning because we have a lot of tasks that we need to do that early morning, to get probably the kids and every other thing we need to do. Those things, even if you sit, you can't work because that period is really, really hard. And I feel that at some point in time we have to adapt in order to survive. Yeah, we have to adapt in order to survive. I wouldn't really say am I really a morning or evening person, but for me, I feel that for most of the things that are important to me, I get to do them any time of the day. But most importantly, I get to do them as soon as possible, which is one thing I've noticed. So I'm like, if you're a writer per se, are you a morning or evening person? For most writers, when looking back at the writing routines of famous authors, you notice that some writers they wrote in the night because that was the time they had to write. Like, most of them, they will come back from work very late, and writing in the night was good for them because everywhere will be quiet and silent, and they are the only ones there to work with their pen or paper or whatever. And it was really, really interesting. Yeah, it was brilliant. Yeah, that's the word I'd probably use. But you have to try, coming back to the whole idea of, have you tried it? You have to try morning, you have to try evening, and you have to understand that, okay, because for most of us, we can write both morning and evening. Can write both morning and evening. Like, for the things that are important to us, we can do it in the, like, we can do it any time of the day for most of the things that are important to us. So this is another. I know I told you earlier on that this series is me advising myself, like busting all my excuse and telling myself that, dude, what do you mean when you say I'm a morning or evening person? Is it another form of excuse? Wait, first thing I want to understand is that I'm curious to know, when you sit down to write in the morning or in the evening, are you telling me that the words won't come out? Are you saying that it's physically impossible for you to write? Okay, I understand. I understand what it means to be a morning and evening person. For most of us, we are just getting started. We're writing probably 10, 15, 20 minutes in a day. It's not really enough time for you to like say, oh, I'm a morning person or I'm an evening person. It's something that can be done any time of the day. But then where it become an issue is when probably you're writing 4 hours, or probably 2 hours or 3 hours, that extent of time. Then you'd have to say, okay, when do I have the time slots to write? Is it in the morning or in the evening? Okay, I have it in the morning, or I have it in the evening after the day's job when I come back from work, after doing a couple of things, eating to keep body and soul alive. I have some time to write. Okay, we're like, okay, that's great, that's wonderful. But the next question I'm asking is that 3 hours, when do you have the slot? You said in the morning, you said in the evening. But that 3 hours, will you be able to physically write? Okay, what I mean is, for most of us, from 9 to probably 11 is like we struggle, like we struggle to stay awake. Like, it's a struggle, a constant struggle to stay awake. Whether we're writing, whether we're watching a movie, or whatever we're doing, like, we just notice that this is not just peculiar to writing. Anything else would fall asleep. And then you're like, okay, what about in the morning? Very early in the morning, from 4 to probably 5, 6, 7. It depends on your schedule. It depends on your day. But the important thing is that you carve out time to do what you need to do. But one thing I've noticed is that the things that are important to us, the things that are important to me, um, I don't really bring the issue and the subject of am I a morning or evening person when it comes to it. I just do it. You get it? I just do it. I just do it. So before you can say that, oh, I'm like being a morning or evening person is not a problem. But using the statement of I am an evening person or a morning person not to write, that is the problem. So you can be an afternoon person, you can be whatever time of the day, you can be an intergalatian night person, whatever that might mean. But the whole idea is that I won't say because I'm a morning person or I'm an evening person, but you can look at it this way. If you're a morning person, what happened in the morning? Oh, I didn't find time to write. Okay, okay. What about the evening? Well, because we've been told that in order to write, we need probably 5 hours in a day. And for most of these people that tell us these things, let's not forget that most of them are full-time writers. Like that's what they do, full-time. They write. But the rest of us, mere mortals, we are writing is something that we love to do, we love to pursue. Like we just love it. You get, we're not necessarily full-time per se. While we're doing it as much as professionals too, we're not full-time, because what I mean by full-time is not the job that you do, like that you have 8 hours in a day to work on. You understand? You don't have that luxury of time. You have other things. There's life. Life is happening and it's happening so fast, and you have to create the time for it. So the question is, am I a morning person? That's not an issue. But the question is, are you using the scope of am I a morning or evening person in order not to write? So when it's in the morning, like, oh, you see, one thing I've noticed about writing is that there are no rules. Like, there are no fixed rules. I can't really tell you that you have to write in the morning or you have to write in the evening. Why, for me personally, I've noticed that I love to write in the morning, like very at the very beginning of the day. Because what I notice is that when I write in the very beginning of the day, writing is one of the important tasks for me. That even if every other thing happens, no matter how the day gets to be, I feel like I've accomplished a lot. I feel like I've done a lot because I have worked on a task that is important and dear to my heart. And so even if I don't write in the morning all through the day, the thought will still be lingering in my head that, oh, you've not written for today, you've not written for today. And I don't like that burden. I want to lay it off as soon as possible. Yeah. Now, in the evening, there are days where I miss the morning, miss showing up in the morning. I catch up in the evening. Yeah. So I'm not going to say, am I a morning or an evening person? I'm just saying that the things that are important to us, we create a time for it. That's what I can say. The things that are dear to us, we create a time for it. And being a morning or the evening person is not a bad thing. But using that as a scope for not writing is a problem. And one other thing I should add to this is, if you're writing 15 minutes, 20 minutes, it's not really, it's really insignificant if you're a morning or evening person, because in the evening, probably in the night, it's something you can put out there and write. In the morning too, when you're woken up before the day gets going, 20 minutes is a lot, is an amount of time that is not going to shift your schedule that much, depending on how your schedule is. Yeah, and you get to write and you get to practice, and which is incredible, which is wonderful. Yeah. So that's the idea. That's the whole idea. That's the whole idea. Am I a morning or an evening person? Yeah. Now, one other thing I would love to add, which is very important, is for most of us, we should also put in the fact that if you have a day job you're doing, when you go to work, depending on how much vehicles you have to enter and the kind of work you're doing, you get back home and you're tired. For some of us, we can muster the courage to write doing when we're tired. For others, we know that our willpower is very, very low when we're tired. So that's the question. So you probably want to start writing very early in the day, so that whether you fight with dragons and all that, and you come back, you can just crash, just sleep, and you don't really have to worry about I wasn't able to write, because sometimes you can be really, really tired. That God, because at that point in time you have a justification not to write, and yeah. But at the very early of the day, you've gone to bed, you're refreshed, and you're ready to conquer the day. Yeah, yeah. But for me, I've noticed that writing very early in the morning, very early in the morning, I've noticed one thing I've noticed about that is that sometimes you struggle with sleep, because struggle with sleep. But I'm like, when I wake up at the beginning of my day, I'm ready to conquer the day. 20 minutes I put into writing, and I've noticed that it really works for me. And yeah, so the question I need to ask you is, am I really a morning or evening person, or is that an excuse I'm just coming up from? Am I really a morning or evening writer, or is that an excuse I'm coming up with? The things that are important to us, we find the time to do it. Yeah, basically that's it. So I'll see you in the next episode. Until next time, you've listened to Yemi Chinua on the Build Writing Podcast. And until next time, keep writing.